to have all of you here. And you've traveled so far. I know the traffic was crazy today. So thank you so much. I know people here from Coventry and Birmingham and Milton Keynes. So thank you so much. Plymouth. So thank you so much. I've even got my mom. She never comes and she doesn't even know what I do. I was like, yeah, podcasting. She goes, oh, interviews like Oprah. I was like, yeah. So she's joining me. And so we have 2 segments. We have one with Denise, where we're going to be opening, and we have a second conversation. I wanted to ask you that, for all the women here, we missed International Women's Day. It's one of my favorite days. We always celebrate it. So it was Ramadan, so I couldn't do anything. But I wanted to introduce you to a very dear friend of mine, and I've known her for more than 16 years.
Absolutely.
And we've done Dorchester to Dubai. I was doing makeup for a wedding.
That's right.
And I met Denise and we've just clicked ever since.
I was organising the wedding.
Yes, and I was doing the makeup for the bride.
Yeah.
And you just click with certain people. So in honor of International Women's Day, I wanted to bring on a woman who I admire, who I have been friends with, and someone who supported me through my career and my life. She's always been there for me. And it's so important to have women like that, especially like Denise. I think everybody needs a Denise in their life. But that's why I wanted to bring on Denise, because we missed International Women's Day. And I really wanted to honor all the women that support me and are part of our journey. And so Denise is, I would say, the Anna Wintour of events in London. She is amazing.
I think Anna Wintour was very disappointed to hear.
No, not at all.
Yes, she was.
Always glamorous, always loving. And so Denise is the founder of Opulent Events, and she's always done events, and she's always been very glamorous. But we're going to talk about her career, because I feel like I need to highlight this amazing person in my life. So, Denise, you've always done some really high-profile events.
Well, I have, but I started off doing rather dull ones, actually. The first events that I sort of fell into were trade shows, and that was a lifetime ago. And they were really deeply saddened events. You'd go to this awful building, and there'd be a load of men and then other guys standing around, and they'd be selling equipment, etc. And I felt completely out of place as a woman there. It was a very masculine environment, and it was sporting equipment and fishing tackle. And it was fishing was then a major sport, but women were also taking part. And if you were running a shop, the last place you would want to go to would be one of these places. So I said to my partner at the time, my working partner, we could really date this and go for 4-star hotels. We could really, really make this a special event and go around the country with it. And that's what we did. And we were the first team to do it. And it really took off. And it became a sort of a benchmark event for many, many other companies to take it up. I never completely enjoyed it because it wasn't a very glamorous profession, really. But nonetheless, I met wonderful people from all walks of life.
But you've done some really high-profile events.
I have.
What are one of your favorites?
She only wants me to talk about
events, you see. Because they're so amazing.
Life is not like that. You have ups and downs.
We were having a conversation a couple of days ago, and I said, I'm loving doing the event and getting people together. Yeah. I feel like I'm totally, like my energy is high, and I haven't done an event for quite a while, especially in London. And I said, what's the best thing that you like about the event? And you said,
when it's finished. But what I should have said is when it's finished and everybody's enjoyed it, because that's the key to doing an event. It's happy faces. It's people that want to come back again. That's the key to it. And that's what makes me happy. But, the lead up to it, it's jolly hard work. And it takes months of organization. And inevitably, you're going to have problems along the way.
I felt that moment actually this morning at 3:30 in the morning. I was like, do I have everything?
You always
absolutely. But let's share some of the real highlights that you had.
I have
Amazing.
been very, very blessed. I've met some wonderful people, major celebrities, Judi Dench, Sir Michael Parkinson. And I know you wanted me to mention the royals. I have done events with the royal family. And funnily enough, one of the most memorable was with Prince Philip, because you're really not sure how to take him. You know, I had met him a couple of times, and I was at the Buckingham Palace garden party, and I'd been asked to invite him to an event for this charity that was charitable, which was the Lady Taverns, which was the ladies' arm of the Lord's Taverns. And it was quite a difficult thing, because you're introduced and then they kind of wander on. They ask you a couple of questions and they wander down the line. And so I said to him, "Sir, I would like to ask if you would like to come to one of our Lady Taverner events." And he said, "Lady Taverners? Ladies at lunch? Why would I want to do that? Why would you want men there?" And I said, "Well, sir, it's not just ladies at lunch. We raise a lot of money and we have a wonderful time there." And he said, "But men don't want to come along. You won't want us there." And I said, "Sir, I assure you we do. You know, for your charm, your wit, and your wallets." And then I thought, my God, what have I said? You know, and he looked at me, and there was that second where I thought, have I overstepped it? And then he smiled and he said, "Okay." And he spoke to his aide, and true to his word, we had a fabulous dinner at St. James's Palace. And obviously he was the main attraction. And he was utterly, utterly charming, great fun. Really, really, it was a super evening. So sometimes you just got to go for it, even when perhaps a little bit of your tummy is telling you not to. So I suppose that was a lovely one to have achieved for me. And I did a big event with President Clinton. Like him or love him, I think he was a jolly good president. And I tell you, he's the most charismatic and entertaining speaker I've ever come across.
He's charismatic.
Huge,
so charming.
And he looks directly at you. You feel as if he is. We had a room of 1,100 people. It was at the Hilton. And I managed to get a sponsor with very, very deep pockets, because it costs a lot of money to bring him over. The money doesn't go to him, it goes to his charities, but it costs a lot. And he flew in on the morning. It was 10 months in the making, because you have to run everything by the CIA, everything. They're in your computer, they're everywhere. You see things moving on your computer. I mean, the security is incredible. And once we got past that, we had Sir David Frost, who actually interviewed him. And it was very, very good. He was wonderful. And with the sponsor, I met him for about 15 minutes before the event, which was really, again, rather a special thing. And we had a very private reception for just 64 of all the guests, 64 people, that paid rather a large sum of money to be in the room with him and have a photograph taken. And he spoke for 1 hour and 10 minutes, which is a long time for somebody to speak. And you could have heard a pin drop. He was incredible. It was the biggest fundraiser we've ever done. And I lost 1/2 stone in weight, actually, organizing it. It was, you're happy when it's over. I really was, because it was the most difficult event to do.
So I think conversations really can change someone's trajectory, like, you know, life-changing conversations. Yeah. Is there someone that has inspired you throughout your journey and during your lifetime?
Very much so. Again, a controversial figure, Margaret Thatcher. For me, I was privileged to meet her several times, and throughout her career. And to me, she was the most awesome lady. I mean, they called her the Iron Maiden, didn't they? But she had a beautifully soft heart. And she was, to me, she managed to, she instilled this inspiration. You felt you could do anything. You could go out in the world and do anything. And she made you feel that. And I found her absolutely charming. And she had this stirring ability. So yes, I think for me, she would be the lady of choice. Absolutely.
Yeah. She was remarkable.
Remarkable, really, when you think, a woman coming in under, a fairly humble background. But yes, she was an incredible lady, and I admire her greatly. And just before she went into hiding, we had a lunch at the Dorchester for just 20 ladies, and it was in her honor. And she was clearly rather feeble then. So we'd seen this very powerful woman, and then to see her like that. And I was fortunately seated opposite her, and I asked her some political question of the time. And she was suddenly this great lady again. She was enthused, she was inspired, she was just incredible. So that's how I remember her. You know, somebody that made me feel I could go out and do anything. And my background's very simple background. So I did not have a fabulous, wealthy upbringing. But it's something that she instilled in me. And I've tried to instill in people that I meet, that genuinely, if you really want something, if you work hard, then you can do it. You can do it. And
So for the men and the women
for the men, we mustn't forget the men.
The men and the women in the audience, how do we support, or how does one support someone's growth?
I think it's just encouragement. You know, if you know somebody is struggling with something, I think we need to be there for each other. And I do feel that we're drawn to like-minded people. I mean, Maryum and I we're very similar in many ways.
Yes.
We're quite determined, but we're quite soft people as well. And for me, friends, you know, you have a lot of acquaintances in your life. You meet a lot of people, but true friends are people that you don't see very often, and you just get a feeling that maybe they're struggling and times are tough. That's not the time to send them a text or a WhatsApp. It's the time to phone them, I believe, and make that physical contact with them. And I think it's about supporting and trying to understand what people are going through, because we all have problems in our life, and just sometimes it helps if you can talk it through. And some people find it quite difficult to talk, and certainly by actually showing you care, for me, it works for me.
I've worked with Denise from Dorchester to Dubai, and I've done some amazing work with her. And the best thing, I think, how I feel to support women is to, she's like my ambassador. And if I want to do something, she'll think about me before, and she'll suggest me, and she'll recommend me. And I think that's what it is. Without even you speaking, someone's already suggested, someone encouraged you. But really, I think that's what it is. She puts me forward in places, or she'll invite me to certain places where, you know, I feel privileged to. And
but if I wouldn't, I wouldn't invite you to somewhere if I didn't think you could cope with it, because then you're in an uncomfortable situation. Yeah. But I know that you might be out your comfort zone, but that you can go up that level.
Yeah, absolutely. I've really enjoyed my company with Denise. Honestly,
do have fun.
We do. We have a giggle. Definitely. So I just wanted to appreciate you and highlight you
so sweet,
as such a great role model and a mentor. And Denise is amazing. We're going to do a grand high chai because we've got a new society coming up. So we're going to do a grand high chai in the summer. She's amazing at events, obviously, but something special will be coming up, and I will do a mastermind with her as well. I'm going to do some.
She wants to hear all the events, the naughty bits about the celebrities. That's what she wants.
I think the best thing is that I think that I've been blessed with in life is to have such beautiful relationships. Everyone here has been handpicked, and they're so supportive, and they want to see you win. And I think that this room of women and men, they are so encouraging. They want you to win. And I remember Sophia, I sent her a message and I said, I have this podcast, the 100th, and she was, congratulations, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. And you want people like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, when she said that, I was like, that's the person that, you know, genuinely, within seconds, she replied to me and said, I wouldn't miss it for the world. And so I appreciate people like that.
Absolutely. People like that, they're very important in your life.
Yeah.
And you don't need a lot of them. You really just need one or two.
You just need to
nurture. You know, it's really important to appreciate your friends, and it's very, when you have a busy life, it's very easy to overlook them. And I think it's just really important to keep in touch.
Can we give Denise a round of applause?
Thank you.